Hey there. I figured it's been long enough. I should come on and actually make an update on how my eyes have been since the EVO ICL surgery. So, as you know from my last video, which I'll link in the description, I had my procedure done in February of 2025. So now it's been about a year and a half since I did that. Um, and let me just say, it's been great. Overall, it has been the best thing in my life. It's one of the best decisions I think I've ever made. Um, the first couple weeks were a little hard. Specifically, my eyes were kind of itchy, especially that first week. But the doctor really didn't want me touching or itching my eyes, so that was just kind of a challenge. Um, One of the things that did help is I kind of would just kind of push around my eyelids on kind of on the bone or kind of underneath, so I'd kind of get near my eye without actually rubbing my eye, and that helped stave off some of the kind of irritation for a bit. Um, anyway, so I had the surgery. A little bit of scratchiness, a little bit of irritation. I used lubricating drops. I used kind of their prescription drops for a few weeks. Um, and but other than that, the side effects weren't horrible for me. The biggest thing that I've noticed, and this was kind of probably the first 3 to 6 months, honestly, probably I'd say 6 months, is I'd see halos. So it's kind of hard to describe, but if you've ever seen like a camera and you see kind of these half circles or full circles of just light, that was really bad for, yeah, probably the first 6 months. It was especially bad if I was driving at night and you'd see lights coming back, coming past you, or street lights. It wasn't enough where I couldn't see, but it was distracting, honestly, because you'd see flashes and then you'd see kind of this semicircle and a full circle and then it would disappear. Um, and that just happened all the time, and it just kind of freaked me out, and it was really annoying at first, honestly. But it was probably right about 6 months when my brain really kind of started filtering that out to the point where now I rarely notice it. I only notice it now if it's late at night, or if it's night and there's a light shining like directly, it's got to hit the right angle in my eye, I'll notice it. But other than that, I really don't notice it anymore. It really was my brain kind of readjusting and kind of having to filter out some of that. But now I don't notice it, and it's been really nice. The other side effect that I've had, and I don't know, if this was an issue before, but I live in Utah, and so it's very dry here. And one of the things that I've noticed is my eyes have been more dry and more scratchy just overall since I had the procedure. Now, I always wore contacts previously, and one of the things that I don't know is because every morning when I put contacts, my contacts would have solution in it, and that would moisturize my eyes first thing in the morning. Where now I don't have anything that was just moisturizing to begin the day. So I don't know if I've always kind of had dry eyes and it's just, more noticeable. That could be. But I have noticed, especially in the winter here when it gets extra dry, or if there's, we've had some forest fires nearby, or just when it gets really bad air quality in the winter, I notice like my eyes will get extra itchy more than I've noticed in the past. But it's something that, over-the-counter lubrication drops have done really well. And I wouldn't say solve the problem, but have made it absolutely bearable. I told my doctor, my surgeon about this, and he's like, yeah, that's pretty normal. If it gets really bad, come back in and we can look at something more prescription strength. But I haven't needed that. It's been absolutely manageable. And, again, my eyes were kind of really scratchy probably that first 6 months, but 6, 8 months down the line, I haven't noticed it as nearly as much. Again, the scratchiness in the winter, sometimes I'll just wake up and it's dry. I also use a CPAP machine to sleep at night. So sometimes for whatever reason, the mask won't seal right, or I'll wake up and it'll be blowing in my eyes. That kind of is extra bad and worse than it used to be when I was just wearing contacts and glasses. But overall, I mean, this has been 1,000% worth it. It was interesting the first couple, let's say first month or two, as I'd be getting ready for bed, I'd go and I'd wash my hands, and then I'd start like, there was once I was like grabbing at my eye for a second because I kept thinking I needed to take my contacts out. And then I realized what I was doing. I was like, oh crap, no, don't do that. Put in some drops to try and just, flush out my eye a little bit. But it was kind of interesting that I just it was just habit forever. So that was kind of a funny side effect. But then after probably, a month or two, it's like my brain clicked and I just totally forgot that I ever even needed contacts or glasses. Like I'd wake up and I'd be like, man, I used to wear glasses. This is crazy. I don't even remember having to do that. Um, and so it's just been one of the best, most convenient things, honestly. I travel internationally. I have to make trips, over to Asia. And one thing that I would struggle with is I'd have to have my glasses case. And since my glasses were so thick, I had a negative, let's see, it was probably like negative 10 to negative 12 glasses prescription. So they were super thick and big. And my case was extra big. So that would take up space. I'd have to have my contact case. I would take a pair or two of extra contacts and then solution. And so my toiletries bag was just half of it or more was just eye care stuff. And so not having to deal with that is just huge. It's so convenient. Being able to go on a weekend trip and just not worry about it is great. But the one thing that I had noticed that I didn't realize was a big peace of mind thing as much is we got woken up in the middle of the night because a smoke alarm was going off. Luckily, nothing, no, nothing actually was burning down. But I woke up and I was able to run out and I was just able to see. And I realized, man, this is huge. Like just if there's an earthquake or if there's something going on and I just need to get out, not having to fumble for my glasses or try to grab something, context wise is huge. So just that piece of it is great for me. But other than that, I haven't really noticed anything. Again, the first 6 months, those halos were rough. The dry and scratchiness has kind of continued, and we're, about a year and a half out. It's still a little scratchy, but again, that could just be Utah. That could be I've always had dries, and I just didn't notice with contacts as much. But, it's nothing that over the counter drops haven't fixed. The other one kind of odd, I don't know what you call it, side effect is so I've got very blue eyes. I was born with blue eyes, and the contacts kind of enhanced the color of my eyes. They were slightly tinted blue, I think, like very, very, very light tint. And I used to get compliments on my eyes saying, "Oh man, you've got really pretty eyes." Since having the surgery, I have not gotten a single compliment of saying, "Hey, you've got really pretty eyes." Not that I need them, not that I'm missing that. It's just kind of an interesting, kind of side. I don't know what you call it, side effect of that happening. And I asked my wife a couple months ago, and I was like, "Do you think my eyes are a little less blue?" She's like, "I don't think they're less blue. I think they're less vibrant and they're not as bright." So that's kind of an interesting, part of me is a little sad because I really liked having really pretty kind of bright blue eyes. Um, and part of me is like, oh, well, 100% worth it. The outcomes are way better than having, bright eyes. So anyway, that was kind of a really random side effect I wasn't planning on. But anyway, overall, a year and a half, best decision ever. Very little pain. The recovery wasn't bad, after I got through the scratchiness of the first week or two. And I got through the halos. It's like I don't even need. I feel like I've been like this my whole life. It's just this feels right and it feels natural, and it's just I don't even think about it anymore. Where before I would think about it every day and every night and every time I did anything, I'd be thinking about it, and I just don't have to, and it's really nice. Anyway, again, feel free to leave any comments if you've got other specific questions, and I'll do my best to answer.